Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Big Ak or Ahmed, and today we're going to be talking about something very, very important for everyone. I have been I have been trading for the last 5 or so years. I have been super into the cryptocurrency scene, the stock market scene, understanding resources, understanding how our US dollar works, understanding how other currencies work around the world, what the gold standard is, how everything essentially works. If I want to make money, I need to understand how money operates. If I want to take loans, I need to understand how loans work. If I want to pay tax, I need to understand how tax works. So I've gone ahead over the last 6 years of my life and I've dedicated to really understanding the financial aspects of this world because you need money to survive. And I don't want to work your 9 to 5 job and make a bunch of money and then get beat by inflation. All right? What I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you guys from my perspective a little bit of what I see. 2024 is a year that I have been waiting for somewhat 4 to 5 years. And for the last 2 years, I have been forewarning people about this year. I've been telling them to get ready. I've been telling them to prepare. I've been telling them to save their money. And I've been telling them to take their money and buy things such as Bitcoin, gold, property, and specific assets that will not lose its value like the dollar will lose its value. What do I mean? So let's go ahead and take a look here at 2008. This is the US dollar, and it shows how the US dollar moves and has value. So this is 2001. In 2001, our dollar had the highest value that we've seen in probably our lifetime. So we went from 2001 all the way down to 2008, which is right here at this bottom of the pit. We had a complete economic collapse from 2001 to 2008. Our dollar had completely lost value, which means from 2001 to 2008, where is my price range tool? The US dollar had lost 42% in value, meaning if you had $1 million in your bank account in 2001, well, in 2008, your $1 million was worth 600,000. So it really sucks because in 5 years, that $1 million just halved itself almost, right? So this is what happened in 2008, and this is what I fear is going to happen again now. As you can see, we are approaching this 2001 threshold where we're topped out. And you can see the US chart after 2008, it kind of sat stationary sideways for some years, about 5 years, and then it took a leap up. And COVID is kind of what sent it even higher. So we're going to see a reaction to COVID. And we're going to see a reaction to all that money that came flowing into here. Now, can the dollar go up some more and get some more value? Yes, it can. Do I think it is? No, not necessarily. The US dollar I see as a slow decline over the next 5 years or so, 4 years or so. I think the US dollar is going to continue to kill itself and lose value. And I think this is very scary for average Americans that are here, have worked and they made a bunch of money over the last couple of years, and they got into a house and they got into a car, they got into all these new things, and their dollar is just going to continue to lose value. So as they're trying to pay for that $300,000 house over the next 30 years, all that money they're making, they made $1 million. That $1 million only worth 300,000, 400,000 over 30 years. It's completely halved itself 3 times. So when your dollar halves itself 3 times over 30 years and you're trying to pay something plus interest, it's impossible. It's modern day slavery almost. So we are going to see something that we saw in the past, something similar to here where we came from. This is 1982 all the way down to 1990. In this 10-year span, we got this big old bang down. We are going to see something very similar here, where it brings us down, right? And that's just what I really see happening here to our US dollar. Now, what does that mean? That means assets such as Bitcoin, which is a safe reserve asset, which means this is made to fight inflation. This is something you buy so that when your dollar collapses, you don't feel the effects of it. That Bitcoin goes up, your dollar goes down, and when you sell back into your dollar, you weren't affected by the inflation. You weren't affected by the drop of the dollar because you went up with Bitcoin and you bought back in to the US dollar. You entered back in to your dollar at its low point when it goes down, right? So there's other assets, for instance, such as gold. Gold here is the oldest safe reserve asset on the whole entire planet. If we go back through history, you can see it just keeps going up, 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 and it never stops. If you bought gold anytime in history, right now, you would be at the highest point that gold has ever been in history. That is huge, which means your grandma, your great-great-grandma, your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandma who purchased gold, who has gold, right now, if you sell your gold, it will be worth the highest price that any human being has ever sold gold for in human history. You are selling gold at the highest premium price it has ever been in human history. That's insanity. You know what that means? That means you're king of Saudi Arabia, you're king of Egypt, your countries like the United States, Great Britain, Russia, they're converting their dollars into gold. They're converting these out of their economy. They're throwing them away and they're converting them into gold. That is exactly what is happening. So when you see gold go up, when you see the NASDAQ, which is the tech stocks, right, go up and break their all-time high, when you see Apple and Tesla and Nvidia, which is insanity, guys. Nvidia is the creator of graphics cards. Look at this stock. When you see these things going like this, that means they're running from this. They don't want this anymore. This is useless to them. They're exchanging this for things of value because they know something bad is going to happen to this. That's why you see gold moving above its threshold. That's why you see Bitcoin moving up to and above its threshold soon. That's why you see these things happening. Look at Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin. It was at $15,000 not too long ago. We're back at $60,000, $61,500, ladies and gentlemen. So understand that when the dollar goes down, assets like Bitcoin and gold go up. And when the Bitcoin and gold come down, assets like the dollar go up, because when you sell your gold, you're selling it for money. And when you buy gold, you're exchanging your money for that gold. So this leaves the market and you get one of these, which is a nice little Bitcoin. And this does not turn back into this until you sell it. So you're basically just killing the economy every single time you buy a Bitcoin. You're killing the economy every single time you buy gold. You're killing the economy every single time you trade your dollar for something of value. Now, when you trade it for something within the economy, so for instance, I pay Apple for this cell phone. So when I pay Apple the money doesn't leave the economy. Apple takes the money, then Apple spends the money again with another manufacturer, another business, and that manufacturer spends it again until it ends up back into someone's hand like myself. So when you spend money within your economy, it cycles, it cycles, it cycles. But when you buy something like a property, when you buy something like a Bitcoin, when you buy something like gold, it no longer cycles into your economy. This dollar no longer exists within your economy. You have taken it and thrown it out. You have exchanged it for another currency. And that is what kills our dollar. If we look at the interest rates over the last couple of years, from 2022 all the way to now, 2024, we have seen an interest rate incline from the Fed from 0.25 basis points to 5.5%. And that means that we have gone up 5.25% in interest on the federal level, which means when you go get a loan from a bank, they're going to take that 5.5% and use it as the base. And then they're going to go ahead and look at, hey, does this guy have good credit? If he has bad credit, we're going to charge him 9, 10, 11% interest. If he has good credit, we'll charge him 6, 7% interest. And that's really crazy, because if we go ahead and we look at things such as the home prices, yeah, the interest rate is at 10% now, but the home prices are still $400,000 on average. It's the same as the home prices when you had a 2% interest rate. Like a couple years ago, I could have went and got a house $400,000 at a 2% interest rate, 3% interest rate. Now I have to get a house at a 10% interest rate, and it's the same price. It still didn't even come down in price. They've had the interest rate froze for over 6-7 months now at 5.5%, and it's not bringing the price of homes down. The home prices are bubbled up. They are stuck at this top. This is what scares me. There's going to be a very fat curve back to the downside on these home prices. This is why it's all a scam. I want to look at a mortgage calculator. So a $400,000 house, right? Let's go ahead. $400,000 house. Let's put $100,000 down, and we're in a 30-year term, and we'll do an 8% interest rate, and we'll update it. So this is what we want to see. We want to see. So the bank's gonna give us $300,000 because we put $100,000 down, right? The house is worth $400,000. We paid $100 up front. So the bank's gonna say, here's a loan of $300,000. After 30 years on this $300,000, I will pay $492,000 on this $300,000 in interest. Meaning the total amount I will pay for my loan is $792,000. Plus the $100,000 I put in the beginning. Meaning for a $400,000 property, for a $400,000 house, I will pay $892,000 for a $400,000 house. I will pay more than double the price over 30 years for the house that I'm buying. And on top of that, I paid $800,000, right? But there's inflation. You know what inflation is over 30 years? My money becomes worth less and less and less and less and less every single year until that 30 years is up. There's no way people pay off their homes. There's no way people do this stuff and it benefits them in any way. There's no way. Cool. Your house doubled in price over 30 years. Your house went from $300,000 to $600,000. Now you can sell your house for $600,000. Congrats, but you paid a $1.2 million in interest. So it's like, what's the point of that? And then when you sell your house at $600,000, it's worth 1/10 of the value as the US dollar was worth 20 years ago. So it's like, this all a scam, guys. It's all a scam, and it's a bubble. It's a big bubble. Look, let's go ahead and look right here real quick. These are all of the prices of items, right? This is 2008. The prices of items took a dive. They collapsed. This is your food, your house pricing, your medication, your services, your goods, your natural gases, your vehicles. All of this stuff had collapsed over here in 2008. Look what's happening again, guys. You get this big spike here and it collapses. What do we got again? During COVID, we got this big spike here and it's collapsing. It's not done collapsing. We are mid-collapse of products and services. They are trying to murder the price of these products and services. So it's getting very, very, very interesting out here. And you're going to see a very big reaction very, very soon. And I just want people to be very careful with these things. With things being at all-time high prices, with the interest rates being at all-time high prices, they're trying to squeeze you into high payment, high interest loans to enslave you to the point where they know you're not going to pay this back. This isn't like, oh, I bought a house for $172,000 10 years ago and I got in on a 3% interest rate. This is like, no, you're buying a house now for 2.8 times the price, 280% premium for $400,000, and your interest rate ain't 2% anymore. Your interest rate's 10%. So, sorry, bud. Sorry, champ. By the time you pay off this house, you're going to be paying $1 million for this house. And that's not good. That's not good at all. No one from my generation who is making minimum wage is going to be able to buy these houses or do these things. How do you make enough money to do this stuff without taking loans, without going into financial bankruptcy and debt? It's impossible. They are creating a impossible way for the next generation to own anything. They're getting us used to renting and leasing and borrowing, and they don't want us to own anything. They don't want us to actually own anything of this nature. And this very much scares me. This very much worries me. And I pray for myself. I pray for my audience. I pray for my family. That every single person that is going to go through this economic disaster that is coming up in the near future is protected. And they're okay. Because all I really matters to me is people have a shelter over their head, people are able to eat, and people are able to be with their families, and people are able to be with their friends. People are able to pay for their medical experiences when they get sick or they get hurt. And I see us going into a state where all of the other things that I do talk about on this channel, from like, the brainwashing and the religion and all of these aspects, it's prominent, it's in our face, and they're going to mix and match all of this stuff within our current standards of today. And we are about to go into a new, I'm very, very careful with the words I use here. I'm going to call the 2020 virus, the Wuhan, China virus. And I'm going to go ahead and call this the new economy of the world, because I don't want to use the other words that will go ahead and flag my video. But yeah, we are going into a much more focused, hyper-focused, enslaved mental state. And this year is the year that they're going to flip it on us. And this year with the election, this year with the financial problems, this year with the interest rates and the hyperinflation, be very, very careful, guys, because we're also in wars, we're also in all these other things, and it's very, very important to just be careful, be calm, and be patient. Anyone that's sitting here screaming, nothing's gonna happen, I'm fine, and you guys are still out here buying $300 pair of shoes and buying pointless Gucci t-shirts and all of this stuff, please be very, very aware that you're going to wish you had that money within the next couple months, because you're getting squeezed out of it. They're squeezing you out of it by hyperinflation. They want you to buy things at their high. They want you to lose your money so they can mentally and physically enslave you, so they can buy up all your houses, so they can buy up all your businesses, so they can take all your products and sell them back to you for a premium later on. Thank you guys so much for coming in today. Be very, very, very careful of this year. This year is a crazy year, and this year will continue to be a crazy year. It has only just began. We're entering March. It is almost March Madness. The halving for the Bitcoin bull run is going to take place within the next month. It is Ramadan in the next month. Be very, very precautious. There's going to be a big flow of money moving in and moving out within the next couple months from these companies, from these banks, from your governments. Be very, very cautious. I love every single one of you. Thank you for coming in today. If you guys want, you can go and take a look at these specific topics. Go check out other videos. Go look at the charts yourself. Kind of figure out how to read them and whatnot. But I just wanted to put this out there that 2024 is going to be a very, very huge year financially, and that you don't want these. Get rid of these as fast as you can get rid of these. And not on stupid things like t-shirts and fancy clothes. Get rid of them on things that have value. And no, I'm not saying buy Bitcoin at 68,000 right now. I'm telling you that you need to convert these dollars into things of value, into things that'll hold value. If that's gold, if that's silver, if that's, certain watch that you can buy, if that's whatever you see comfortable to you. If that's a stock like Apple, Apple's not going anywhere. If I had $100,000 sitting in my bank account, I would just buy Apple stock. It's better than letting it die. 7% a year, 7% a year, 7% a year, 7% a year. In 5 years, my 100,000s were 75K. I'd rather put it in Apple stock. And when I look back at it in 5 years, instead of it being 75K, it's 120K or 130K. Yeah, it might have not grown much, but it's better than leaving it in a bank and letting inflation kill it and earning 0.01% interest on my money. So, guys, be very, very precautious when it comes to this year, when it comes to your finances. Do not spend unnecessary amounts of money. Do not hyperinflate your dollar for itself. Get the hell out. Run from your currency. Anywhere on there, run from your currency. Make yourself a foundation so you can get back in at the lows. I love you guys. Thank you for coming in today, and God bless you all. Free Palestine, baby.